When we were considering a keynote speaker for this year's event, we really considered, as Mayor Halo was mentioning, the times that we have been through, the challenges on so many different levels, particularly within our business community, but yet that amazing creativity and resilience that has shown through. And obviously, we continue to strive forward in our visions and our goals, and all of you have made that so very apparent. So we wanted to find a connection that not only would acknowledge the challenging year that we've had as a community, but really connecting that this is happening across our state, and as well, so much resilience, so much creativity, and so many incredible resources are available, not only to continue the journey we're in now, but to really catapult us into the future that lies ahead. And so with that, we found Robin Bostrom. Robin Bostrom serves as a business specialist with the Iowa Economic Development Authority, working with the Downtown Resource Center and the Main Street Iowa team. Prior to joining IEDA, she served as a local program director for West Union, Iowa, a nationally accredited Main Street program in Northeast Iowa. She has also worked for numerous nonprofit organizations, served as executive director for Fayette County Economic Development, and is a small business owner herself. She earned a BA from the University of Northern Iowa and is a graduate of the Heartland Economic Development course. She enjoys working with Iowa communities and small business owners to help them develop their full potential. While in West Union, Robin assisted in the planning and development of a $10 million streetscape project in the historic downtown district, which won numerous awards for sustainable design and stormwater management practices. Robin, we are so thrilled to have you with us today. Welcome.
Great. Well, thank you, Mary. You can go ahead and move to the next slide if you would, please. It's, again, my pleasure to be with all of you today. As Mary said, I am with the Iowa Economic Development Authority, and I've been on the team there for, this is the start of my 7th year. So excited to share with you a little bit about what we're doing in our agency. So next slide, please. So for those of you who may not be familiar with the Main Street Iowa program, we are under the Iowa Economic Development Authority's umbrella, but we work with 55 communities across the state. And you see here a map that indicates all of the communities that we're working on, and Ames is one of those communities. The Main Street program really is economic development within the context of historic preservation. So our focus is on traditional downtown historic commercial districts, but we also do some work in historic commercial neighborhoods. So for example, Historic Valley Junction in Des Moines and the Czech Village Nubo district in Cedar Rapids are just a couple of our Main Street urban neighborhood districts that we work with. And we are a program of the National Main Street Center. So next slide, please. And as I said, we are affiliated with the National Main Street Center, which is a nonprofit national organization. We follow the Main Street America 4-point approach. So we look at economic development and sustainability on 4 different points: economic vitality, the design of a district and the buildings that are within that community, the organization where we work to build leadership and have a strong organizational capacity, and really to ensure that we have broad community engagement across the community. And then promotion, which is the marketing districts defining assets and helping to build on those. So my focus on the team is in that economic vitality kind of blue point. So we really help to build a diverse economic base within our districts. And we do that in a lot of different ways. But again, this national approach, this 4-point approach, is a nationally trademarked approach. It's a proven transformational strategy that we know works. It's used by many states across the country. And Iowa has been involved in this program for a little over 30 years. So next slide, please. And so I just wanted to share with you a couple of the program opportunities that Ames has. Ames has been in the program since 2009, and John Hall is your local director that kind of directs the program for you. It's under the umbrella of the Ames Chamber of Commerce. Great partnership there with that organization. And these are just a couple of the programs that Ames has participated in recently. We have our Challenge Grant program, which is a bricks and mortar grant program that allows up to $75,000 on historic building renovations. And so you see there a project that's been done. The Market Studies and Strategies program is one that I direct for our team. And Ames just went through this program in 2017 and had the pleasure of working with Mayor Hala on that project. That's where we really analyze the market that Ames is working on, and we look for opportunities on ways to strengthen that market and other opportunities that maybe the city and the downtown district could capture that they aren't currently capturing now. And then after we do the market snapshot and the market studies and strategies, we have another program called Ready to Recruit, where we help our communities learn how to recruit sustainable businesses that maybe are missing from their district. And so that's another program that could happen down the road. And then I also have the pleasure of directing our Open for Business grant program, which helps on business expansion for programs that are located within your historic downtown district. And Nook and Nest was an applicant into that program last year. So next slide, please. And so we just wanted to offer a couple of pictures. Yep, there we go. So this is the Hala Architecture Building. This is the challenge grant that was completed in 2016. Again, this is an annual grant program that we have through Main Street, Iowa. We receive some funding that is every year from the legislature that is dedicated to this program. So it is a great program that helps us take historic buildings and give them a new life. We firmly believe that the greenest building is a building that's already built. And if there's a way that we can help that building have a new life and move on into the next 100 years, that's always a great asset for us. So next slide, please. Oh, and I was just going to also mention the Sheldon Munn building downtown is also another building that has taken advantage of that program in your community. So this slide just shows, again, some of the program opportunities that are available to those communities that participate in the Main Street program. So we offer all kinds of workshops and trainings. These are open to any resident, any business within the community. Again, we offer market data and demographic information, so we can pull that information for your community at any time. There are many times that we can also focus that down. So if you're looking for some information, please reach out to us. One of the major things we do is provide that local staff support for those directors and volunteers within your community that are working on revitalization efforts. So we offer lots of support to those folks. We do a lot of business workshops, and that's one of the things that I spend a good portion of my time on, is helping to build that capacity to have more sustainable businesses from just an operation standpoint within our communities. One of our major services is that we do provide free design services to our districts that participate in our program. So we have 2 design staff on staff right now who can help business owners kind of look at, and building owners look at new opportunities and help them develop those they don't do construction drawings, but they do help just in those designs of opportunities that might be existing. We offer state conferences for people across the state in our network. We also provide scholarships to the National Main Street Now conference, so that folks across the state of Iowa can learn from others across the country. And then we help to share best practices that are happening across our district and case studies. One of the things we always say in Main Street is that we are really good at R&D, rip off and duplicate. There's a lot of things that you can learn from your neighbors. And again, sometimes we don't have to start at ground zero. So we really do. And one of the things I really enjoy about being a part of the Main Street Network is there is a good sharing of information from all of us all across the state. And that's a real value to the program and to those who participate. And next slide, please. And so as we talk about sustainability and economic development, these are some photos from my home community, West Union, which is where I kind of cut my teeth on sustainability and how that affects economic development. West Union was chosen in 2008 to serve as a pilot community for the state of Iowa. The state in 2008 was again looking at many of the same things that you in the community of Ames were looking at when you created your smart business challenge and your sustainability efforts in your community. They were looking for ways to help our communities have less impact on the environment, to be more energy efficient. Were there business operations that were contributing negatively to those issues, and could they be corrected? Historic buildings many times can be very efficient, and they can also be very inefficient. And then we were also looking at quality of life issues. And so these are just some photos of, as Mary mentioned in my intro, we did a major streetscape project and a redevelopment sustainability project that involved porous pavers through the entire downtown. There's 6 or 8 blocks of porous paved street paving in West Union. We incorporated numerous bioswales to deal with stormwater runoff. And if you remember what was happening across the state in 2008, that's when we were having some pretty significant flooding that was affecting many communities in our community across the state. And so we was in West Union, we were doing this project. This project also has geothermal hookup, a downtown well. There are 132 wells on the courthouse square that feed a line to all 60 buildings within the downtown. So you see a little bit of that. And then just recently, the city has been involved in doing some solar. So just a lot of sustainability efforts. And that's really where I learned about the importance of sustainability on many fronts early on in my career. Next slide, please. And so it's been very exciting for me to learn everything that you all are doing working on sustainability in the city of Ames. And so one of the things that we know is that it takes many people and many partners to have success in this arena. And so I'm just so pleased to see and to learn about everything that you are doing in Ames. Most of my work has been with the Main Street organization, but you guys just have such great partners as I've learned more about this Smart Business Challenge. And so I just want to congratulate all of you and continue to encourage you to work together on this effort, because the needle can be moved and it takes all of us to do that, but you guys are really having some great success. So congratulations to all of you that are involved in that today, and continue to move forward in that arena. Next slide, please. And so Mary asked me to also just share a little bit about what the Iowa Economic Development Authority has been doing for sustainability efforts, and why I don't work in all of these areas. I did want to just share a little bit about what the agency has been working on. Obviously, renewable energy has been a huge factor in what the state has been working on, and we are now in the state of Iowa the #1 in wind energy. And so these are just some screenshots from our website. In 2020, with the onset of COVID, the state really worked hard to update their website. And so if you haven't been there yet, please do take some time and take a look at the website to learn about some of the things that are happening. So wind energy is definitely one of them. You can see, you can review the action plans and the reports on the status of where that is, but Iowa is now #1 in wind energy. So next slide, please. I first learned and got a lot of the information in our home community in West Union on sustainability from the Iowa Energy Office. And when we first started, that was at Iowa State, and it has now moved to IEDA, but you will also find information there from the Iowa Energy Office, and they're really charged with growing sustainability for the state. And so one of the things that was also recently updated in 2020 was the Green Streets criteria. And if you're not familiar with that, it provides guidance for communities and businesses and building owners on things that they can do to address sustainability within their operations. And so if you go to the website, you will see a link there to Green Streets, and it will take you right to that updated work that was just completed in 2020. So next slide, please. And then as you scroll down a little bit, if you do want to learn more about the Green Streets pilot communities, there are several, not just West Union, but Woodbine, Storm Lake, and Bloomfield have also done other pilot projects with different focuses. And so you can take a look and learn more about those projects if you're so inclined. And then there is also the project, the interactive map that you can find at the bottom of the page there. As you can see, there are many, many projects that IEDA has assisted with in some shape or form all across the state, everything from watersheds to porous paving to solar to wind projects, all sorts of things. So you can click on that map and you can see a lot of the work that's been done if you are so inclined to learn more. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the Iowa Green Streets criteria was just updated in 2020. And if you're not familiar with this, it is a great resource for all sorts of facets of sustainability. So it touches on things, everything from public health to energy efficiency, a lot of water conservation efforts. If you're interested in porous pavers or bioswales, all those sort of things that deal with stormwater runoff and water conservation. There's information on smart locations for buildings, operational savings. If you are an office building, or how can you help reduce what you're paying for operating your building? And just a lot of really good information on sustainable building practices. So I really encourage you, if you're not familiar with this resource, to really check it out. It's a meaty read, but there's a lot of really great information involved in this resource, and you can access it all right from the website. So next slide, please. And then as the mayor mentioned earlier, and all of us are aware, COVID-19 has just kind of turned everything upside down, and it has been a major challenge for many businesses all across the state. And from the very beginning, IEDA got right on board. We dealt with lots of ways. Our entire agency has been working on COVID response and now COVID recovery. And so there are dedicated, there's a dedicated places on the website that address all of this. And so you can check out that tab on the website if you want to learn more. Next slide, please. And another major effort that the state has been involved in is numerous COVID-19 relief programs. And I'm just sharing a little bit about some of the financial impact that the state has had in all these different programs. I spent a lot of time in the early days of the COVID lockdown dealing with the Small Business Relief Program. This served small business owners all across the state. So there were numerous. We also had the Business Disruption Program. The TSB is a targeted small business program. So that was launched for those to deal with those sole operators. So as programs were rolled out and there were gaps, the state really did try to step up and deal with things as best they could. So this just shows you a little bit of some of the impact that the state had in the recovery and relief efforts as the pandemic moved across the country. Next slide, please. And again, this is just another slide showing some of the programs that were available from a financial aspect, the utility disruption prevention programs. So we really wanted to make sure that small businesses didn't have their power shut off because they couldn't pay their bills for whatever reason. Then they also rolled out a residential disruption prevention program. And then there were also some programs for livestock producer relief, as we all know, and then a beginning farmer debt program, and as well as a fund for the biofuels. So I think the state really did step up and try to protect the economic sustainability of our state in the best way that they could. Next slide, please. And then another major platform that we worked on was the shopiowa.com platform. So this was launched to help small businesses. One of the things we quickly realized is that many businesses across the state of Iowa did not have an online presence. And it was a pretty big hurdle for many of them, retail businesses, service businesses, all kinds of businesses. And so the Shop Iowa platform was launched in August, and the state is covering the cost for businesses to have exposure and to list products on this site through June of 2021. So again, if you haven't checked out the site, we encourage you to do so to really support the economic sustainability of the businesses in Iowa. So when we talk about sustainability, it is the environmental sustainability, things that happen with our environment and the natural built environment. But sustainability also affects the sustainability of our businesses, and that they're strong, and that we hope that they will be here post-recovery after the pandemic is past us. So business has changed, and we are doing our best to continue to support those businesses across the state. So next slide. Again, there are so many additional resources that can be accessed, and many of you are aware you have a great partner with Iowa State in Ames, but also our energy providers, our SBDC, the SBA, SCORE, and of course, Main Street America. So lots of great resources out there that we can all tap into. Next slide. So I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here to share with you today. I again want to offer our congratulations to all of you that are doing everything you can to help the community of Ames and to be sustainable within your community. So we have a little bit of time here for questions. And again, thank you very much. I enjoyed being with all of you today.
Robin, thank you so much. So much good information. I think some really good reminders to us. I love the R&D, rip off and duplicate, because I think, you know, truly from a sustainability standpoint and a sustainable future, it's not important that everybody does something completely unique and completely different. I think we learn from each other, we utilize the resources and the, you know, expertise and the different techniques and processes that work for our business, and share that with other businesses. That's been a really wonderful part of the challenge, I think, is that being able to share different ideas amongst businesses, I know has been something that's been particularly exciting to see as well. And then I think also all the different things that you have mentioned, all the different programs, all the different initiatives you've been involved in. I think one of the things, although they have environmental pieces, they have economic pieces, you know, really at the, you know, at the end, at the center of everything, is that it all comes together to bring such wonderful quality of life to our communities. And that's what we all want, you know, for our current and our future generations, most definitely.